reporting from Arkham Asylum. This is Gotham Rogues. In this video we take a look at the comic book storyline Batman Harley Quinn. Batman Harley Quinn is a special one-shot that was released in the midst of the massive No Man's Land arc of 1999. It served as an introduction of Harley Quinn, a character from the animated series, into the Batman comic books. The writer was Harley's creator from the show, Paul Dini, and the penciler was Yvel Guichet. With this story, Dini sort of retells Harley's origin from the animated series to fit in with the then current events of the regular comic continuity. In it, Harleen Quinzel is a psychiatrist working at Arkham Asylum who falls in love with her patient, the Joker. Quinzel grows obsessed with the psychotic clown and begins to help him escape every time he's caught. However, she's eventually exposed and then declared legally insane herself, resulting in her own incarceration at the asylum. For months, she waits for her beloved Putin to come rescue her, but he never shows up. Then the earthquake hits Gotham, shutting off all the power in Arkham, allowing for Harleen's escape. She finds herself thrusted into the chaos of the No Man's Land and sets on a quest to reunite with Mr. J. But first, Harleen decides to make herself presentable, thus creating the supervillain persona of Harley Quinn. After finally finding the Joker, he accepts her as his sidekick/girlfriend, and together the lovely couple spread terror and mayhem in the already broken city. Nothing lasts forever though, as the Joker realizes that a relationship hampers his style, so he puts Harley in a rocket and sends her away to a speeding doom. She doesn't die, however, and is rescued by Poison Ivy, this being their first proper meeting. Ivy nurtures Harley back to health and then sends her on her way to get revenge on Putin. But will Harley truly be able to go through with it? Or will she just yet again fall for the Clown Prince of Crime's irresistible charms? Technically, this is not Harley's first comic book appearance. She did appear in the animated series comics that were spin-offs of the show, but this was her introduction into the proper comic continuity. I wonder what took them so long. I mean, 1999. Renee Montoya, who was also introduced in the animated series, appeared in the comics basically right away, and she was nowhere near as popular as Harley. Considering how immensely popular the characters become now, it's even harder to understand. What's also odd is they decided to finally do it in the middle of No Man's Land, a massive crossover arc that threw the entire world of Batman upside down. Pretty weird, but in a way it actually fits. The chaos of the No Man's Land is a perfect setting for Harley and Joker's crazy relationship. However, at the same time, I don't know how well the story works as an introduction to Harley Quinn for beginners. You'd figure it'd be a good jumping on point for those who don't know much about her, but the state of Gotham may be confusing for those who aren't familiar with No Man's Land. But looking past that issue, this really is a good story. I love Harley stories that explore her relationship with Mr. J. She can work on her own, but in my opinion, not for too long. Eventually, I just start longing for the Joker to re-enter the picture. He is, after all, Harley's sole motivation for becoming a supervillain. I don't know what she would have become if it weren't for him. Would she be an ordinary woman? It's tough to say. Clearly, she was already a bit off her rocker before meeting Joker. This being the comics and not Taz, we can get more gruesome stuff, and that makes Harley appear crazier than she did on the show, as she's completely devoted to a guy who's as brutal as Mr. J. But what's so interesting is that she doesn't seem to see it. In her eyes, the Joker is perfect and can do no wrong, not even when committing mass murder. When it comes to her Putin, Harley has an incredibly skewed view of reality. She interprets his actions and words in her own way, as opposed to what they actually are. Like when she's telling Ivy about a hideout she built for Mr. J. In her words, he was absolutely thrilled with it, but in actuality, Joker seems to barely care. She's a bit like this with everything though, like a person on happy pills or something, but it's strongest and most consistent when concerning Joker. When it comes to the Clown Prince of Crime himself in this comic, he barely seems to care about Harley at all, as he's willing to sacrifice her at any moment, and then of course shoots her away in a rocket. But there are times when it appears he has some sort of appreciation of her, and I don't think it's just because of her practical use. I think Joker's in a way a bit fond of Harley. In one scene after he's gotten rid of her, Joker appears a bit affected and starts talking about women and relationships with his henchmen. Of course, it just comes off as creepy when it's him, and you never even know if Joker's being serious or just joking. At the same time, I get the feeling that he also outright hates her due to how she grovels at his feet. Joker has no respect for people who behave like that, neither for those who fear him. That's why, partly at least, he loves Batman so much. He's not afraid of Joker and views him as nothing but garbage. Also, in Joker's eyes, Harley gets in the way of his battle/psycho friendship with the Dark Knight. She's a third wheel, and uninvited at that. In this story, he never asked for her companionship. Like I said, I love stories that explore the insane on and off again relationship between Harl and her puddin', and this comic is one of the better examples. It also helps that it was written by Paul Dini. No one gets Harley quite like he does. After all, he did create her. This is my Harley Quinn, essentially the Taz version, just a little edgier I guess, as opposed to the weird, zany, unfunny Looney Tune from the New 52. I also want to mention that in this comic, Ivy gives Harl a potion that grants her not only immunity towards toxins, but also enhanced strength and agility. So Harley has powers? I don't really like that, but it does explain why she often appears so acrobatic. As for the artwork, I normally wouldn't like it. It's that typical sort of cartoony style that was popular in American comic books in the late 90s and early 2000s. It's a visual style I've never been a fan of, but it kind of fits this wacky tale and Harley's bubbly personality, so it's actually not too bad here. The cover by Alex Ross is absolutely gorgeous though, and it's maybe the most famous and iconic Harley and Joker image of all time. Even the movie Suicide Squad makes a reference to it. So there you have it. That's Batman Harley Quinn, one of the best Harley Quinn stories in my opinion. Remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.